Okay. Did we land on the moon, or was it just all fake? I'll put the Wikipedia link on the description below, so if you guys want to read more about it, you can go right ahead. Alright, let's just jump right into it. So, the moon landing conspiracy theories are conspiracy theories which claim that some of all elements of the Apollo program and the associated moon landings were hoaxes staged by NASA with the aid of other organizations. The most notable claim is that the 6 manned landings, 1969 through 72, were faked, and that 12 Apollo astronauts did not actually walk on the moon. Various groups and individuals have made claims since the mid-70s that NASA and other knowingly misled the public into believing the landings happened by manufacturing, tampering with, and destroying evidence including photos, telemetry tapes, radio and TV transmissions, the moon rock samples, and even some key witnesses. Much third-party evidence from the landings exists, and the detailed rebuttals to the hoax claims have been made. Since the late 2000s, high-definition photos taken by the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter of the Apollo landing sites have captured the lander models and the tracks left by astronauts. In 2012, images were released showing 5 of the 6 Apollo missions. American flags erected on the moon still standing. The exception of that is that of Apollo 11, which was laying on the lunar surface since being accidentally blown off by the takeoff rocket's exhaust. Conspiracies have managed to sustain public interest in their theories for more than 40 years. Despite the rebuttals and third-party evidence, opinion polls taken in various locations have shown that between 6 and 20% of Americans and 28% of Russians surveyed believe that the manned landings were faked. Even as of late 2001, the Fox television network documentary Conspiracy Theory: Did We Land on the Moon? Claimed NASA faked the first landing in 1969 to win the space race. So possible motives here include the obvious space race between the Soviet Union and the United States, as well as the NASA funding and prestige. It is claimed that NASA faked the landings to forego humiliation and to ensure that it continued to get funding. NASA raised about US $30 billion to go to the moon, and Kaye-Singh claimed in his book that he could have been used to pay off many people. Since most conspiracies believed that sending men to the moon was impossible at the time, they argued that the landing had to be faked to fulfill Kennedy's 1961 goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and return him safely to the Earth. In fact, NASA accounted for the cost of Apollo to the U.S. Congress in 1972, totaling up to $25.4 billion. Vietnam War, and then you have some various hoax claims and rebuttals. The number of conspirators evolved, include many respected people from various different sources. I'll put them in the description, or you can look at them here on the Wikipedia page if you really want to. Some other things here. Let's see. Okay, so deaths of NASA personnel. In television program about the moon landing hoax allegations, Fox Entertainment Group listed the deaths of 10 astronauts and of 2 civilians related to the manned spaceflight program as having possibly been killed as part of a cover-up. Theodore Freeman, Elliot C., Edward Givens in a car accident, and you have some various other personnel who mysteriously disappeared or in some form of accident. So it just kind of makes you wonder, like, why did so many people die? Why did so many people die when they were doing this moon landing? NASA response, obviously they will, denounce this kind of stuff, so can't really trust them. The image landing sites. Okay, so before I go into this, I just want to ask you guys. I don't know how many of you guys have actually used like Google Earth, but maybe I did something wrong and maybe it just didn't work at the time. But when I like, because you can go not to just Earth, you can also go to, like, I think you can go to, like, Mars, and you can go to the moon, so on Google Earth. So I put the moon thing settings, and then it showed me like what the moon looked like. I could zoom in apparently, like, on the moon and stuff, but it says like, oh, this is where like the landing happened, this is where this thing is, this is where this machine is, and it claims to be there, but you can't actually like zoom in and have like a bird's eye view of the actual like object. It just never it just didn't show up. And this was about a couple years ago, where I just wanted to see like, oh, okay, like, let's see if you could actually see these things. And at least during that time, I couldn't see it. You would, yes, you would have pictures and all that, but you wouldn't have a bird's eye view of the stuff that they would actually show you in those pictures. So if anyone could just look this up for me and see for yourself if you can find it, please let me know. Otherwise, maybe it was just a setting I didn't put on, but I mean, I wouldn't think so. It, who knows? Who knows? All right, so you have obviously you have the various, you have the conflict of the space race between the USSR and the United States. I'll just read a little bit of what it says here. Motivation for the United States to engage the Soviet Union in a space race can be traced to the ongoing Cold War. Landing on the moon was viewed as a national and technological accomplishment that would generate worldwide acclaim, but going to the moon would be risky and expensive. As President John F. Kennedy famously stating in a 1962 speech that the United States chose to go because it was hard. Hoax theory debunker Philip Plait says in his book Bat Astronomy that the Soviets, with their own competing moon program, an extensive intelligence network, and a formidable scientific community able to analyze NASA's data, would have cried foul and the United States tried to fake a moon landing, especially since their own program had failed. Proving a hoax would have been a huge propaganda win for the Soviets. Conspiracists Bart Serbrail responded, the Soviets did not have the capability to track deep spacecraft until late in 1972, immediately after which the last 3 Apollo missions were abruptly cancelled. In fact, the Soviets had been sending unmanned spacecraft to the moon since 1959, and during 1962, deep space tracking facilities were introduced at IP-15 in, forgive me if I can't pronounce this right, Uzurisk, and IP-16 in Evaptoria. While Saturn communication stations were an interview for the article The Moon Program That Faltered, describes how the Soviet moon program dwindled after the Apollo landings. I mean, a lot of people that I have talked to who, talk about these kind of things, they just, they've told me like, hey, the Soviets, they knew what they were doing, obviously, with their space program. They thought that, hey, this would obviously be something that is obviously really difficult, like the Americans think, but there's limits to our technology in this day and era, in this day of time. So, obviously, if the U.S. had wanted to do such moon landing, either it was obviously for this one of these reasons. Of course, this was probably the main reason why. And I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not saying don't trust your government, but like, how many times have they just told us blatant lies before? So, how can we really know for sure that this actually happened? Also, with during the moon landing footage and whatnot, how like the flag moves and all, like, how would that even be possible? And obviously, you have a lot of people from the inside who were just like, oh no, this is completely fake. Obviously, the government had some agenda that they were trying to complete, and if they couldn't have done it by the time that President Kennedy stated his speech, then they would try and do something like this. So I don't know. Just let me know what you guys think, and I just find it pretty interesting. Yeah, back to the photography and film oddities. It says here, moon landing conspiracies focused heavily on NASA's photos. They point to the oddities in photos and films taken on the moon. Photography experts, including those unrelated to NASA, answer that the oddities are what one would expect from a real moon landing, and not what would happen with tweaked or studio imagery. Some of the main arguments and counter-arguments are listed below. Close-up flag showing washed-up crosshairs. David Scott salutes the American flag during the Apollo 15 mission. The arms of the crosshair are washed out on the white stripes of the flag. Enlargement of a higher quality 2004 scan, crosshair and red stripe visible. Enlargement of a poor quality 1998 scan, both the crosshair and part of the red stripe have been bled out. Yeah, so it seems that obviously there is many reasons to believe that this might have been a hoax. But I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section, and I guess I'll just leave it at that. Anyways, if you like this kind of video, please please like, subscribe, dislike, whatever you feel, and just let me know, and hopefully I'll make more videos. But thank you so much, and have a good day. Bye bye.